Hey everybody, Spencer here with a long overdue review of MERCS Recon. So for those of you who don't know, MERCS Recon is a cooperative board game set in the MERCS universe, where the players take on the role of a MERCS team. And you basically go into a building and you're trying to complete some kind of objective. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say I love this game. It's a ridiculous amount of fun and it's super customizable. There's so much replay value. But let's go into what makes it good. But first, little disclaimer, there are two starter boxes for this game. They are Counter Threat and Assassination Protocol. Now, there's no rules difference between the two, but there are differences. They come with different mercs teams. They each come with 2 5-man teams. They'll come with a couple of different opposing force models, so it's different security force guys. They also come with different missions and different tiles. If you're interested in knowing what comes in each box, you can check out our unboxings here or here. Take your pick. Or watch them both. Now, as I said, this is a cooperative board game, which I love. It's a nice change of pace from the actual miniatures game, which is a opposing skirmish game, which is getting a second edition, which is coming out soon, and I expect to have my hands on my copy soon-ish, whenever it shows up. So as I said, in the game, you go through and you're trying to complete some kind of objective. Now, you don't know what that objective is right away. You build your board, you pick your team, and then you draw a mission card. And your mission card tells you what your objective is. And it can be any sort of numerous things. It could be, go to this location and destroy this thing. Find this person and kill that person. Find this person, get them out of the building. Go to this location and hack this terminal, whatever it might be. But it's usually never that simple. It's usually find the terminal or find this thing. And there'll be 4 or 5 things on the board that'll have question marks on them, and you have to go around and try and find out which one is it. And the mission card will tell you what one you're looking for. It'll also tell you how to set up opposing force when you get to it. It'll also tell you whether or not there's a extraction point, how to win, all that sort of good stuff. And I love that there's a bit of a mystery about it. It's not as simple as being able to go, okay, we need to go to this room. Okay, easy enough. No, it's, you gotta find this thing, you gotta find this person, and then you have to do more. It's not just getting there and getting out. You've gotta get there, complete the mission, and then get out. So one of my favorite mechanics in this game is that the OPFOR, the opposing force, start as agent tokens. They're just these little colored discs that are on the board. And as you play, as you go on, they move by cards. You draw a card at the beginning of every turn, and that tells you how they move around. And the cool thing is, every tile has a circle on it, and the circle is half orange, half white. And the card will tell you, blue discs move 2 spaces on white. So they'll move any direction that is white. So they can usually move 1 of 2 directions. If the option is there for them to move 1 of 2 directions, you roll a die and figure out which direction they're going to go. And I love this because it's an air of mystery again. You don't know who these people are. They might just be the janitor. They might be a guy with a shotgun. It's all very dependent on a lot of factors. And when you get in the line of sight of one of these agent discs, you draw another card. And that tells you what the discs you can see are. They'll say blue disc might be this thing, red disc might be this thing, black disc might be this thing. And what they are is dependent on A, the card, and B, the security level. Now, I think the security level is a really cool idea. And the way it works is the more stuff you do, the more the security level starts gradually going up. And that kind of ramps up the difficulty of the game. So you start off, the first bad guys you might encounter are going to be just kind of regular mook security guards with a pistol, not a huge threat to you. But as things go on, as you start doing more stuff, as you complete objectives, as you kill people, as people escape the building, whatever it might be, the security track can start going higher. And soon enough, you got guys with shotguns, and then guys with carbines. And next thing you know, there's fully armored dudes with assault rifles busting through windows, ready to gun you down. So your actions play a huge part in how hard the game actually becomes. And I really like that. The other thing I really like is that it isn't just based on killing. There's other things that can increase that. Causing damage to the building increases the security track. If an employee manages to escape the building, they basically run outside and shout for the cops, and things get harder from there. So there's a couple of options. I mean, with employees, you can either gun them down, which only makes things worse, or you can capture them and interrogate them. And they might tell you location of an objective. They might tell you something important. But most importantly, if you capture them, they don't add to the security track. So there's a lot of trying to maneuver around these guys who are going to try and outrun you. Now, I mentioned damaging the building, and that's another really cool mechanic of this game. There are 3 different levels of dice in the game. There's the yellow basic dice, red medium dice, or heavy dice, I guess. And then there's the black dice, which doubles both collateral damage die and defense. So as you make attacks, if you're rolling black dice, instead of hitting just the people in the location, you hit the location. And every spot on a tile has a armor that it offers to the people that are in it, if any, tells you how many people can be in that location, and also has a health rating. And that health rating, if it is exceeded, you put down a collateral damage disc. And the more of these you rack up across the game, the more the security track goes up, because people start kind of getting aware of the fact that you're there. Now, this can both be a boon and a hindrance, because obviously the more damage you do to the building, the higher the security tracks can go up. But you can kind of work with it. If there's 3 enemies in a location, you can damage the location, possibly forcing one of them out of the location, which means now you have less people possibly in range to deal with. The other thing is you can also set up cover for yourself. You can create a spot in a narrow hallway and plop 2 of your guys in it after you've blown a hole in the ceiling, and now they have some extra armor because the location is providing armor to them. It's providing them with cover. So there's a lot of strategy to be used with it, and I really, really like that. Another cool thing I like is that the different objectives offer different things. So it's not just like, oh, you found this and it wasn't your objective you were looking for. Oh, it sucks to be you. There's actual things you can do with them. And that means that going around to the different objectives might not be so bad. Now, obviously the biggest selling point mechanically of this game is what is called breach and clears. Basically, anytime you enter a room where an objective is, you enter into a breach and clear. Your guys that are adjacent to the building, or adjacent to that doorway rather, get sucked in, and then there's a bunch of bad guys, and there's the objective. And you kind of have to fight your way through this situation. And if it's the objective you're trying to get to, you might have to kill all the guys, hold the objective, whatever. You might have to destroy the objective, which you do through damaging the building during the breaching. Or you might just be in the wrong room. You might just be somewhere where it's not the right location, but you're there anyway, and now you have to fight a bunch of dudes. And your mission card will tell you what kind of setup you get as far as like number of enemies in a breach and clear. And the breach and clear is really where the game comes to life, because you could play the same mission with the same board and get 2 breach and clears and have them be completely different. So yeah, the strategy is really, really fun. I love it. The replay value is great because you can build the board differently, all these different ways. You can even play the same board, but with different missions and with a different team, and it will drastically change how the game plays. And I think that's really, really cool. Now, there's a lot more I could go into. I could go into player boards and how they work. I could go into more detail about the different tiles. And if you guys want that, leave a comment below and I'll do videos on that. I can actually do a learn to play for a recon because I actually have all the stuff for once in my life to actually do the learn to plays that I'm constantly promising you. But yeah, there's a lot that goes on in the game, but the basics of it are you're there, have a mission, complete mission. And there's so much variety. Like I said, you can play the same exact board with a different mission, or even with a different team and the same mission, and have a drastically different outcome. You might fail, you might succeed, you never know. So yeah, my overall thoughts of Recon are very positive. There's a couple little things here and there in the book that are kind of oddly worded, but there's already an FAQ out to clear those issues up, which is nice. Some of the missions can be a little difficult with different teams. I know EU Incorporated has a real hard time completing missions where the goal is to destroy an objective, because the team that comes in the box doesn't throw out a lot of black dice, which makes it a lot harder for them to destroy objectives. There are ways around it. There are ways to deal with it. It's just kind of learning the nuances of your team and learning the nuances of the objectives. So overall, yeah, I think Recon is an awesome game. I'm really looking forward to getting the rest of my stuff. For those of you who already are familiar with MERCS and you're going, none of those teams are the faction I like, don't worry. There are mission packs that are going to come out for the other factions in the game, and these will include a 5-man merc team, a large tile, a specialty employee miniature, a couple extra mission cards. I think it comes with like 2 or 3 exclusive missions and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to play ISS, there will be a box that will come out for ISS that will have guys in it. And honestly, this is a great way to get into MERCS as well, because if you buy the 2 starter boxes, or even if you just buy one of them, say you buy Assassination Protocol, you now have Kemvar and Kizewaza, and you have 2 5-man teams that you could play against each other in regular MERCS tabletop. So yeah, MERCS Recon gets a big thumbs up from me. I wish I could tell you what the price is going to be, but I have no idea. I imagine it'll be somewhere in the 60 to 80. Anything more than that might be a little too much, but I think that's a good price range for it. Once again, if you guys want more info on this and a little more in-depth on how the game works, leave comments below and let us know. I will be glad to film those for you. I will also be doing gameplay videos of this, because while it sounds really pathetic to play a board game by yourself, it can be hard to organize 5 people. So I can actually play this game alone, just set it up in my living room and film a game. So be on the lookout for those. I'll probably do a couple just because I do love this game and it'll be great content, and I can't always organize people and work schedules and all that jazz. So there will be a lot more Recon stuff coming, including more unboxings, as I'll be getting a couple of mission packs. And if you like MERCS, be sure to keep it here, because I'll also be getting the 2nd edition rulebook as well as all the faction decks. So I'll be taking a look at all of that when that shows up here at my door. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this has been really long overdue between work and trying to write my book and camera issues. I've had a real hard time actually getting stuff done. So I want to thank you guys for sticking with us through the hard times, through the slow times, and again, you guys are awesome. So be sure to keep it here for more from MERCS, as well as unboxings and reviews of other assorted things. Also, don't forget, you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter by following the links listed below. And now I wait for the giant box full of the rest of my MERCS stuff.